G's.
What the fuck?
It's like croutons in a soup.
Don't turn down any opportunity, whether it's a camp, a clinic, because you never know literally who's watching.
Make your own decision and stick with them and know they're the right decisions, right? And even if they aren't right, don't regret them.
He didn't know creatine existed. So he got in some creatine. He's like, oh yeah, lift heavyweight.
Shipped across the border. I shipped across the border.
Shipped across the border, man.
Welcome back to Shipped Across the Border.
All right, so we're back. Shipped across the border, episode 98. I don't know. We're back. Have we had any repeat guests on the team?
Not Elms.
So we have Addison Alfred Phifer.
That's your middle name?
No, that's your middle name. I just say everyone's middle name is Alfred because Chris's middle name is Alfred. So Addy, senior, one of 3 seniors. Just got back from spending a semester with his family abroad.
Why are you giggling when you say that?
Because I think it's hilarious. Now on some real shit. Addy, reintroduce yourself to the audience.
Yeah, I'm a senior at Elms. Obviously, I'm on the basketball team, and I did just spend a semester in New Zealand, but I was by myself. I wasn't with my family, and
you don't have a family over there?
I was studying there. No.
What was that like?
No relations to anyone in New Zealand.
I know, like from previous conversations, you've been to New Zealand before, so I mean, you can explain. It's your story. You can explain.
I went there in high school in 2019. I was a junior in high school, and I did go with my family that time. And
family from here, your family. That's where you met your family from.
My
there.
original family.
The Phifers.
And then 5 years later, you went back to tend to your family in New Zealand.
No, my dad had a work opportunity, so we lived there in Wellington for 6 months, and I went to high school there. So that was really cool. And then, being a college student and realizing that my college career was coming to an end, I wanted to go somewhere, and New Zealand was like the first thing that came to mind. So I was like, I got to go back.
How did you kind of arrange that? Well, first of all, I'm assuming you maintain relationships with people over there?
Yeah, I stayed in touch.
So that was one of the big things?
Yeah, actually it was basketball that kind of helped me create friends there originally, and then helped me stay in contact, because like I'd reach out to my old teammates, and we'd talk about the NBA or whatever.
Did you play basketball when you were in New Zealand the first time in 2019?
Yeah, I was on the high school team.
Is basketball good over there?
No.
Oh.
I'm not gonna
You were
lie.
dominating?
I was dominating a little bit, and they would say the same thing, because in New Zealand it's not like a major sport, so you don't start playing when you're like in first
What are the major sports?
It would be probably rugby or soccer or cricket. Yeah, cricket. Cricket's huge.
Did anyone try to recruit you to the rugby or cricket team?
You'd probably be a dog at rugby.
I don't think I would have been. I mean, I saw them practicing. And
Actually, they're mad physical.
Yeah.
You're picking pop.
In high school, I was super skinny, and I would have just got folded like a napkin probably. But yeah, I just stuck to basketball. And yeah, they didn't start playing until they were like in 5th grade. So I was way ahead. I was way ahead of the curve.
If your New Zealand team played against your Hopkins team, it would have been bad?
That would have been an interesting game.
I know you went to Hopkins was a small school.
It would have been pretty close. My Hopkins team was probably more organized and like fundamental, but the New Zealanders play like a European style, so they like pass a lot. So that would have been a good matchup.
Okay,
it's crazy. I never thought about that. Yeah.
So how was New Zealand the second time around? And like you said, how did you set it up? Like, how do you end up just deciding to do that?
How does somebody just let you just not come back for the semester? Now you're just out here just chilling. Not
did you get credits for that?
Yeah, I did.
So I gotta understand how.
There was some red tape for sure, but I got to shout out Nancy Davis.
Saw it coming.
Nancy.
Previous guest on the podcast as well.
Nancy was key in making that happen and making sure I'd get credit. Got to shout out Amanda Garcia, my advisor.
Another
bro.
Regular shout out on
the two G's.
We had Nancy on, and we literally said like her and Amanda are the two, like they're a dynamic duo, and they're like the two cornerstones of
That's right.
Elm's education
Yeah, they
and
hold it down.
opportunities.
They hold it down, and yeah, so they made sure like I was going to take the right classes, so I'd get credit for those classes, and that I'd still be enrolled at Elms. So when I came back, halfway through the semester, I'd be able to play basketball because I was still enrolled technically.
So you got the best of everything. You got to go to New Zealand over the summer, and then the first semester you got to come back here and play right away and not have to wait till second semester.
Yeah, it worked out really well. I have to give credit also to Coach Pish because the understanding I had when I left was that Coach Southall was going to be there when I got back.
Yeah.
And so I talked to him about leaving. I talked to him about coming back and joining the team, and he was okay with it. And then obviously the coaching change happened, and that kind of like that situation is not what a coach wants to hear or like expects to hear.
Especially when you're holding tryouts and stuff.
Someone's on your team is in New Zealand and will be coming back after the preseason, right before your second game or whatever. So that was a tough situation for him to deal with because he was also trying to organize the team and everything. Mm-hmm. But he was like really accommodating, even just like his willingness to let me join the team. I'm very thankful for that. Mm-hmm. Like I could just be going to Elms and not playing right now.
You could be like Chris.
Yeah.
Just lifting up line of fitness and out here.
I could be just going to the
That's
gym
not even a
all the
diss.
time.
That's just, are you going to Elms? Yes or no?
Currently, yes.
Do you play basketball
Sometimes.
for the team?
One can debate whether or not
Nobody
I should be
can
on the,
debate.
should
He's an
be-
honorary member of the team.
That's fair.
He could be.
And what did you do in New Zealand other than go to school there in your time in New Zealand?
Well, being in New Zealand as a college student versus being there as a high school student living with your family is very different.
Just as like a sidebar, what is the legal age of drinking over
It's
there?
18. It's 18.
Vibes. Just had to get that
Yeah.
out of the way.
All of age legal. In the U.S. legal. Young men at this table right now.
Yes, true. Good to point that out. So I lived with other international students, which was like probably the most impactful part of the experience.
Where are they from?
I lived with a girl from Spain. I lived with a girl from the UK who was going to school in Scotland. And I lived with a guy from Chicago who goes to BC. He's actually back home. And I got to go to BC and like watch a basketball game with him or something.
He doesn't play for the BC.
He doesn't play there.
I was about to say, the BC coach, there's no way he's letting him
He's a
play.
really good soccer player, though. That was his
Really?
sport. He played. I don't know if you know the Chicago Fire, but he played for like their. Yeah, it's like I think it's the pro team in Chicago, but he played for like their development squad
That's dope.
when he was a kid.
Yeah, he's
so
nice.
He's nice. Yeah, and
And you hooped there too,
I
right?
was with a New Zealander, and yeah, that was it. Just the five of us.
You played ball there?
Yeah. So they
I saw you hit a game winner.
They had
a little Kawhi game
club
winner.
leagues, and that clip was from a social league. I only played one game with that team. I only knew one person on that team, but I just kind of like showed
And they
up.
trusted you with the last shot?
They were, yeah, I mean,
This
Did
kid's
they
tall.
think
This
you're
kid's
like-
tall. He
they
must be
saw the
good.
rest of the game. Dude.
Tall and white, he must be able to shoot.
They saw the rest of the game. That's why.
You getting buckets?
These guys were really ballers. Like they were just hooping for fun, and we were playing against a team of kind of like old heads, and there was a couple dudes that were pretty good. So we were down like 12 most of the game. You don't see that in the clip, but we had like a good comeback. We started pressing, got some steals,
How many did you drop?
and then I don't even know. I only had a few buckets. Well, maybe like 15, maybe like 12, 15.
Colin 15 in the game winner.
Yeah,
Good game.
that's the only game. I've really never hit a game winner. So that was
In your career, that was your first game winner?
like at the buzzer. Yeah. I've
What,
never
Andrew
done
had the ball your whole life? With
yeah, you know exactly what's going on. Andrew had the ball in his hands. I'm the guy setting the screen, and like me.
No, we were playing in Hopkins, twos, over Thanksgiving, which is their high school, and me, Andrew, because I was staying with Andrew, and Addy had his former teammate from Roger Williams, who actually played at Gordon last year, named Charles, and so it was Hopkins verse, and we were just fucking around. I was talking shit, and they had game point, and Addy had the ball. I'm like, Addy, he's gonna pass to Andrew. Like that's what he's gonna default to. Like he needs Andrew to save him when the game wins the time. Addy hits the game winner, and then we were just talking shit. But I thought that was funny.
It's good to be back in that gym. It's
I mean, they had a shooting machine at a public high school. Like it was like imagine JDSS having a shooting machine.
You guys don't have a shooting machine here.
yeah,
No, we don't have a shooting machine here.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, that was a new thing. We didn't have that until I was like a senior, and then there was COVID and stuff. So, but shout out to Fred Siaglo. Yeah, Fred Siaglo really got me about that.
That's a fire name, Fred Siaglo.
Freddie C.
Freddie C.
So what was like the highest level of basketball you played over there? 'Cause I know like you.
So that's a good question. I tried out. I think the highest level basketball team was me trying out for like a semi-pro team.
Okay.
So the pro team in that region of New Zealand, it was called the Otago Nuggets.
Okay.
Like
Sounds like a Wendy's order.
like the Denver Nuggets. You know, that's a real team.
Yeah.
And so their bench guys, like the guys who were like on the bottom of their roster, those were the kind of guys playing in this league.
So like the development team.
This was like a new league that had just been formed called the Tupu League, and I was trying out for that squad.
Okay, so it's like the development team for the pro team in the area.
Kind of like, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And I went to 2 tryouts. I'd say I balled out, but that's like some of the like fastest paced hoops I've ever played, and it was like they would beat Elms. Like I mean this day and age is not a great thing, but a great achievement. But
at this moment in time, maybe, but we're building something. We're
building something, and I didn't make the team. I think there was multiple reasons for it. I think I told the coach I wasn't going to be available for the playoffs, and he was like, "Okay, noted." And I think that was one of the reasons. But those guys were legit. Like there was legit talent in that gym.
If you were of the same circumstances as everybody else in the gym, do you think you make that team?
I think so. I mean, I talked to some of the guys, and they were really confident that I was going to make it. But
do you know where you would have placed on like 9th man, 8th man? Yeah, like 9th, 10th, 11th.
Like, definitely off the bench, probably. Mm-hmm. Like we had legit size, like legit big men. We were like
how big? Like you were like
6',
a wing?
7. Like yeah, I was definitely a wing. I wasn't a big. But you know that came and went. That was early on, and then after that, I didn't make the team. I was like, what am I going to do to stay in shape? Like what am I going to do to train? Mm-hmm. So I ended up going to it was called the Unipol. It was like the gym where all the college students went. Okay. And so there was always runs there. Monday, Wednesday, Friday nights. I would just show up and just play with whoever's there. And you know it's like a mixed bag when you show up to like a Y or a rec gym. But there were some good guys. I got to know people, and I started training with some guys. Yeah.
So you didn't really play like a league out there, other than that one time where you just.
So I did.
Went all coat.
I did. I didn't sell that well. There was a club team that I was playing for.
A part of the school?
For like 2 months.
Like an intramural type of
so
thing?
It's
not affiliated.
It wasn't affiliated with the school. Like I said, basketball is weird out there. It's not doesn't have great foundations. But this club team, there's like levels to it.
Okay.
So there's like A level, and then there's A Reserve 1, and there's A Reserve 2, and then there's B grade. So essentially it's like A, B, C, D, but they don't want to call it A, B, C, D.
Okay.
So they changed it so people feel better because like, I play A Res too, like, you know. And so I was playing A Res 2 with my friend because he was on the team and he got me on.
Okay.
And so I played with them, essentially C grade.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, great guys, but they weren't like they hadn't been hooping their whole career. Like they just picked it up because they were athletes. And so that was kind of
good way to stay in shape.
It was
though.
just like cool to stay in shape, run around and get some shots up. But
just practice and shit.
I did.
Like
Yeah, we had practices like maybe a couple times a week. And then I played a couple games at the A level, so like the top level. And that was like that was hard and that was cool. That was like real live minutes. And yeah, we were like one of the worst teams in the league. We were really bad.
Really?
Just because we represented the school. Like we were the school's team, and it was like a non-affiliated league for the school. It's
I don't know if I have the brain
confusing.
power to comprehend that. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's
The subsidy of a company of a
I don't really.
yeah.
Whatever.
But
We were the varsity squad.
for the
So
school,
we got beat up.
you were the varsity squad. So you were
the
playing in the club, but it was
The
on
club
behalf
was called
of.
the varsity. Yeah.
Oh. No, this is
There's a lot of complications.
okay.
Did
What
that? Go ahead.
No, you got it.
Did that change your perspective on like the basketball you're playing now? Because you went over, saw some semi-pros, saw this A-level stuff. Did it change how you view the college game now?
Yeah, I think so. I noticed like I said, the European style. and a bit more discipline in. But I mean, basketball is basketball.
Yeah.
The American style game is different.
It seems like you would thrive under a European style of play, the way that you move off the ball, being able to shoot and stuff like that. Like, it seems like you would like that style of basketball.
I did. I think it fit me pretty well. And I think it taught me to, like, look for cutters, like, look for backdoor cutters. Like, those guys are always
Dude, the first practice back,
I swear, yeah, that's exactly what happened.
we're running point, and me and Addy were making a living off of the split screen backdoor cut. I think I finished 2 of them. One of them, I think I got fouled, or maybe JC blocked or something like that. And a couple other times I got it, had a look, kicked it out to some other actions. But like there was, and dude, we never hit that. Like that's never hit. And so yeah, that was dope. So now that you said that, I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what that was coming from, because I was playing pickup, and I'm like one of the best players in the gym because it's just some guys there, and so I'm just trying to hit people, like, and that's the stuff I was looking for, and then it just translates.
That's dope. What are some highlights outside of basketball? Because I know obviously you had such a diverse experience over there.
Yeah.
Obviously you didn't go there just for basketball.
Basketball, parenting, drinking.
Dude.
No,
That's an urban legend.
What was the urban legend of the Phifer family from overseas?
Say that 5 times fast.
Well, give me some highlights.
What did I do? What did I do
highlights?
with my time? Honestly, like it's a student city. It's like a walkable city. It's barely like it is a city, but it's small. It's hard to explain. It's hard to compare it to a U.S. city, honestly. But I would walk the city. Like there's all these different restaurants and stores and
what type
shops
of food
I would go to with my friends. So there's a big Asian influence in
Really?
New Zealand.
Fire.
Yeah. So there's a lot of Asian food. There's a lot of like Turkish delis, so like kebab places. Oh my god,
That's fire.
I loved kebab.
That's a good combo.
Yeah,
That's a
it
good
is. It's
combo.
really unique. And then of course there's like a British influence because they were a British colony. So you get you go to a bakery almost every day and get a pie. So it's like a meat pie.
Hey, yo.
Like a shepherd's pie?
You don't understand, man.
I don't. No, I don't.
Definitely don't.
Did
Did you try Vegemite?
I did. It's nasty.
Really?
It's nasty.
What? Isn't it just like mad salty?
No, it's oh my god, I know what it's made out of, and I can't
Yeast.
remember. Yeast, and it's like concentrated down. It's yeast concentrate, and it's like
Sounds
black.
like something
it's,
you would like.
It's black, and you
No,
just
I know
spread it
it.
on toast.
Marmite.
With a cigarette.
Tried that too?
Yeah. No.
That sounds like something
You don't fuck
you
with
eat
either
with
of
a
them?
cigarette and a black
Wait,
coffee.
how did you
in the
try
morning.
that? Did you use like spoonful? Or you put it on toast?
I put it on. The only way to do it is put it on toast.
Yeah.
But
Put it on a banana.
Like it wasn't even
wrap it.
passable.
I did it the wrong way. So I was
Put it on the
told
wrong side of the bread.
by my British friends. I did it the wrong way.
They always say that though. Like I've seen people online try Vegemite, and the entire comment section is you did it wrong. How can you do it wrong?
You put too much and you don't. Yeah, if you try to make a sandwich out of it, it's bad. I think. So the way I
has to be
tasted
open
it,
face?
the way I tasted it was open face is best. The way I tasted it was on soft white bread, untoasted, unbuttered bread.
You have to
And
butter
there was
it first before you.
slab of it, and it was a sandwich. And so I thought it was Nutella because it was at like a table for like the student association, so they were giving it out for free. Tasted it, thought it was Nutella, and I had just spit it out. It was so bad.
It sounds like something, like you say, just
Yeah.
put on a piece of toasted. It sounds like a thing you have with a cigarette and black
something-
coffee at 7 a.m.
yes.
before your shift. That sounds what it's like.
That's what you would do. It's very savory, and you're supposed to put a very small amount of it.
So you thought there was no way, no matter what kind of way you serve this, that you're gonna be able to eat it? Like it's not passable at all.
It's something like I would have to force myself to.
Probably something that your mom or your mother has to be eating while you're in the womb consistently for you to actually like.
What?
Otherwise,
What are you talking about right now?
bro, that should actually make sense. I just dropped some fucking scientific knowledge.
What would that do?
You know, like the foods that your mom's eating, the mother's eating, like you end up like liking more. Well,
Is that a
you've
thing?
never had that before.
Is that a
in your
thing?
entire life. Your
Can you
taste buds
confer
are
if that's a thing or
I'm
not?
pretty sure that's a thing.
I don't think that's a thing.
I'm pretty sure
You
that's a
said
thing.
that like
I
you're
mean,
supposed to-
epigenetics is a thing where like the things that your parents do while you're in the womb can have a minor influence on you
Well,
as a person.
He's never had anything like that before, and you try it at the age of 21, it's going to be unfamiliar. But if you've been growing up with that your whole life, and I'm sure people like, dude, moms are eating that shit while they're pregnant. Like
My
that shit's like
mom
bread. That's
has
bread and
been to
butter over
Australia,
there.
so maybe she.
That's bread and
she's
butter
had
over
some.
there.
She's been to the UK.
I don't know. Maybe I just had some absolute BS.
Yeah, I'm gonna lean
I
towards
think that
that.
shit was smart. I think that was smart.
All right. Yeah. Well, either way, I didn't like it. It was not good.
Do they speak English over there?
Yeah.
That's the majority language. That's the okay.
It's
Is
a
there-
British colony. So.
What's the secondary language?
I'd say by percentage, I wouldn't even say it's the native language because
English?
no, I'm saying the secondary languages could be like Mandarin or something. Because
so it's
there's,
just-
like, there's
okay.
an Asian population, but it also could be Tereo, which is like the native language
Of
the
New Zealand.
native people,
Did you pick any of that up?
Maori people. So a little bit because I took a class. I had to. It was on the final. So I was like furiously going through these flashcards, preparing for it.
Can you drop some?
Well, like the Maori language is like, it's hard to describe, but it's like, it's really family, like the whole culture is like really family based. So family, the word for family is whānau, but it's spelled W-H-A-N-A-U, whānau. So in the language, the letters W and H make an F sound, so it's like whānau. Wow. Cool. Yeah, and
Yeah, I
then,
don't know if
like,
I
I mean,
I don't know
I
if
can
I
make
can
fun
do
of it,
that.
but like I don't know anything
Yeah,
about
I
that
mean-
in order to say anything. Like,
Yeah, that might throw me off.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. No, it's
I think just
totally-
making fun of it would be just complete ignorance.
Totally-
because
it's
like,
totally
how am I going
fine.
to tell someone that W and H does not make a sound?
Yeah.
You know, like I don't know. I would not. I mean, you gave me a million tries to read that in English. I would not have put together that sound, but
Yeah.
I'm not from there, so
It was cool to take the class. It was basically like a history of the
it's probably hard for you
people in the
to.
country.
I feel like learning a different language. It's probably is easier when it's less familiar. So you're just like you're learning something completely new. But like if you see W and H together, you have to break the habit of in your mind that like that's what it would be in English, and now you look at it from like I feel like it'd just be easier to learn a
That's
different
true.
language. You know what I mean?
I mean, if there weren't English letters, it would just take longer though, because
I guess
I
yeah.
went to
but I feel like English letters
Chinese
but,
school for
are
years.
really.
Yeah, Mandarin is just it's like
more like
you're-
symbols and
It's
stuff,
like
right?
code. You have to learn all of these characters. Like
Yeah,
there's thousands of characters in Mandarin.
As somebody learning sign language, I can tell you for a fact that the letters don't help at all.
I just think something like an English language or a language with, I mean, I'm saying it's English because that's the language I speak, but like
Yeah.
it would be their language letters there. But for me, a language with English letters, but it's just pronounced completely differently would completely throw me off. I think I'd have a way better chance of learning something that's just completely new, other than breaking these habits that I've already built.
I see what you're saying.
Do you
You know
think
what
if
I'm
I do you think if I threw up some sign language letters right now, you'd be able to guess what they are?
We could try it live on air new segment. L, J,
That's a
V.
letter.
Yeah,
V. Okay.
this is V.
X,
No, it's R.
R.
R,
Go with that.
W,
No,
M.
no, that's close.
U.
M and W is the same thing. It's like
No,
so
this is
how
M.
can it be
this
close?
is M.
Okay.
That's N. This is T.
Okay.
How is
O.
M? Okay.
E.
Chris is in sign language
What about
class.
that? What
and
about
his
this?
teacher is like doesn't like use sign language. I don't want to be like
She's
disrespectful.
deaf.
She's deaf. Yeah, I didn't.
Don't dance around the word
brain's
deaf.
not
Like,
working.
there's
My
no other way
brain's
to
not
say that.
working enough to like.
There's no other way to say the fact that she does not have sound coming through her ears.
I don't
She
want.
can't.
I didn't
that's
want
the
to
only-
say she was like. I just didn't know if she was deaf or she was like just mute.
No,
like,
no,
I didn't
she
know
is-
like, and
she
I didn't want to be
is-
disrespectful.
Well, usually those go.
My
hand,
brain's
usually those
not
go.
functioning today.
Usually those go hand in hand. But she's
Now you're just
Yeah,
assuming
that.
people's disabilities and stuff.
No, usually when you are deaf, you have a much harder time communicating with the outside world because the sound can't bounce off of your own brain. Like, it can't self-regulate.
You're the
'cause
one
you
taking
can't-
the class, not me.
Yeah.
So I'll
You,
take
you have
for
to
it.
do it entirely based on feelings, like the vibrations in the air when you talk. Like, they don't have a sense of tonality because when they talk, their brain can't self-regulate and go up or down because they have no
This might
sound
be
coming
super
in.
insensitive, and you might have to
Doug,
cut this.
I'm taking the
I'm
class.
taking your word for it. I'm asking you something completely different. Can you like emphasize things in sign language? Or is everything like the same?
You
Yeah,
emphasize
it's body
using
language.
Yeah, you emphasize using your eyes, mouth, and all that. So if I want to say like no, it'd be like this is no.
So I'd be like,
like if
how-
you're
how
if you're like yo,
emphasize it?
I'm gonna throw
I'm
one
not
out.
trying to be
No,
disrespectful.
I'm gonna throw one
That's
out
what
there.
I'm saying.
I'm gonna throw
I'm
one
not
out.
trying to be disrespectful.
Okay, I'm gonna throw one out there.
Genuinely
It's hard to do with one hand, but it's like if you want to say that something's small, medium, large. If it's small, you go. If it's medium, you go. And if it's large, you go. Like it's just based on your facial expressions. You change the size.
so
of
if
the
something
thing.
is no, if I'm like,
Okay, I'm going to break it down for you in the most simple way possible. When you're signing, there's 5 characteristics you have to hit in order for the sign to be accurate. It's where it's placed on your body, the sign itself, the facial expressions you make while you're making it, And there's like 2 more. If all 5 things are check marked, it means the sign is correct. That's why sign language is so complicated, because like if I do a sign that's over here, but it's supposed to be over here, it's wrong. If I do it upside down, it's wrong. If it's one
Language is so complicated.
it's
bro.
super complicated.
Even if you think about it, we all speak English, obviously, like, fluently.
Mm-hmm.
But like people from like China or from other places who speak other native languages, like struggle with English. Like, yo, English is mad hard. But like, you don't even think about speaking English. You just speak.
Well, no, I mean, I often think about the fact that we are all extremely lucky to be born in the most opportunity-rich language. Like, you were born as a white dude in North America who can speak English. That is like the most. If you want to make the most amount of money in the world, you want those characteristics.
Yeah.
You've been given the best possible video game
I
character.
learned that the U.S. passport is really powerful too.
It is, I think.
Like,
what other passports are powerful? I don't really know.
I mean,
There's a
British
few.
passport.
There's a few, but like there's pretty much anyone that doesn't have an embargo with the U.S. So like if you had a passport where you can't get, like a Russian passport would be really useful, because then you could commit a crime in America and leave to Russia, and they can't extradite you for the crime because they don't have an embargo with America. So like you could kill someone in America, leave the country, and they don't have an embargo with Russia, so they can't expedite you.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah. I could go
How
on
do we- how we
I could-
get
I
on
could
this
go.
topic?
I could go on a tangent with this, but like, there's this guy named Edward Snowden who was in the FBI. He was a high level ranking CIA guy or something like that, and he violated a bunch of laws to show the American public that the CIA was violating their human rights, like by
Down.
tracking them on their phones and all this stuff. And he did that, and the sentence for that is like life imprisonment.
That's treason, huh?
Yeah, exactly. And so he bounced to Russia, got a work visa, but because they don't have an extraditing treaty, you can only have a visa for so long. So his visa is actively running out, and if he gets sent back to the U.S. because his visa runs out, then he's going to get tried. And
So you're saying that's why Addy went to New Zealand?
100%.
Yeah. He's escaping the FBI. Yeah.
You said something about, I vaguely remember, maybe it's on the bus, you're talking about some dinner that you had over there. And it was like super unique.
The roast dinner.
Yeah, it was something.
Yeah.
Talk about that. I don't
So it was
Another story.
my Scottish friend's birthday. She was turning 21. So we wanted to have like a dinner, and we wanted to eat in to save money mostly, but also because it was kind of fun. And I was late, so my friends Angus and Pablo did most of the cooking. So shout out to them. But
Shout out to Angus
they
and Pablo.
made a
Shout out to AMP.
They showed up. They showed up and made a whole English roast dinner.
What goes into an
includes,
okay.
Oh man, I don't want to get this wrong, but there was like side dishes of like mashed potatoes, and there was like a pudding, like Yorkshire pudding. Like they kind of nailed that one.
What
and
is
then,
that?
Yorkshire pudding.
You know what that is?
It's like a bready
Oh, like bread
like
pudding.
pudding.
Don't they have that?
It's kinda like-
Don't they have it for breakfast too? Is that a thing?
English breakfast.
Yeah. Do they have the pudding with it?
I don't think they have Yorkshire pudding for breakfast. No, I
Okay.
think it's more like beans and potatoes and stuff.
Okay.
I don't know, man. I don't know. That stuff's all like. No, it was actually really good.
Yeah.
I don't want to shit talk it, but then they had what was the meat? Like chicken or pork or something.
Yeah.
Beef.
On like a
beef.
roast?
No, beef roast. Yeah, obviously, yeah.
Okay.
Beef roast.
Was it fire?
It was good. Yeah. Yeah. I was. I just showed up and just ate.
Is it expensive over? Like you said, you want to save money. Is eating out expensive in New Zealand?
No, it's actually cheap.
Really?
Oh my god.
Like,
you can get a Domino's pizza for like $4 US.
Ben
So-
last night actively spent
20,
24 bucks
yeah.
on 2 medium pizzas, and those things were pathetic.
they were tiny,
They were
dude.
bad? Or
Tiny.
just small?
I don't know if they were bad.
No, they
were
tasted
tiny.
great.
I think
apparently.
honestly the large pizza is like basically medium sized.
Over
So
there?
I can't imagine a medium being.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it was pathetic. It was
small,
tiny. It was
yeah.
insanely tiny.
No, it was insanely tiny. It was like a pizza you get from the market size.
For $24. Yeah.
2 for $20.
Yeah, no, it's expensive.
So you go to these Chinese restaurants. How much for like a plate of 1 protein, rice, and 2
That's a
vegetables?
good question. I got this for lunch while I was like studying for finals. I went to this. There's a couple places, but I'd say like 12, 13 New Zealand dollars, which is like, so a New Zealand dollar is 60 cents of American.
Shout out Canada. Ours is 70 cents.
It's like 40% off. So that would be
$8
like
bucks.
$8 for like a plate. It's like,
We need to get out of here, bro.
We need to go to New Zealand, bro.
Taxachusetts, bro.
I think here it would probably be like 14, 15 US American dollars.
Dude, in Canada, that's a $24 meal, probably.
24 Canadian.
Canadian, which is like $19 American.
Yeah, dude, it gets expensive.
Really?
How many other places have you traveled to in New Zealand? Twice.
Went to Puerto Rico for spring break one time. I've been to London. I want to go to France, but I haven't been there. We went to Germany on the same England trip, and Sweden. So it was like England, Germany, Sweden. We were seeing friends in Germany and Sweden, like family friends. So
As somebody who's never left North America, I'm kind of fascinated by like travel and stuff because I really do want to travel. And I'm wondering if, first of all, what was your favorite place to travel out of all those places?
my favorite is New Zealand. I'm totally biased.
Do you want to like move there when you after you graduate or?
Yeah, it's definitely on the table. Like I've thought about it. It's a little bit out of the way.
Yeah,
it's like 20 hours of flying or whatever to get there.
I know that when I was trying to talk to you on the phone, it was like 3 days of over the summer. We were like trying to coordinate.
We're trying to figure
for
out
like
time.
a week.
Yeah, because I have to. It's me early in the morning calling you late at night, so it's hard.
What's the time delay?
It's like 14 hours.
Yeah, it's big time.
It's annoying.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's fire.
Yeah.
He would like call me while I was at work, and then I would call him after work, and it'd be like 4 a.m. And we would just like
Getting back from the bars.
yeah.
Kid and wife in hand.
I have a friend in with the kid from the bar. That wasn't his.
Kid, wife, pot roast.
Some bread pie. I have a friend right now that's actually going to school in England at University of Sussex. He's in law school over there.
Okay.
And I think it's like maybe it's 8 hours time difference. But so he'll watch our game sometimes, but for him it'll be like 3 a.m. coming home from the bar, and then he'll just turn on the Elms game.
That's too funny.
Yeah. So or he'll like send us voice memos drunk because he goes very big going out scene over there, and they just like big drinkers
Is
over
it
there.
Essex?
Sussex. Yeah, in England. Like so he plays. I mean, you'd understand this. He plays for the school. The school has like a team. Like in England, schools has sports teams.
Yeah.
And they maybe practice like once a week or twice a week, and they play. It's not super competitive, but basically he's a starting QB and a starter on the lacrosse team at the same time, and they're both in the same season.
Wait, QB like American football?
Yeah. So they have an American football team.
Okay.
And they have a lacrosse team,
that.
and he's a starter on both of them. He's a starting QB.
That's cool.
But I mean, and it's the same season. Like,
That's crazy.
but they each have one practice and one game a week.
Huh.
So it's not like
It's totally doable.
so yeah, but like
And law school though?
in law school.
Damn.
And he goes out 5 times a week.
Damn.
This guy's a prodigy.
This guy's
Like so they had a 6-hour road trip.
brain.
They left at like 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. played and then drove back in the same day. And he said that he brought 3 bottles of wine on the bus ride back. And he took down all of them. Shout out Benjo. I'm gonna send him the podcast to tap in. But life is so different over there. I mean, but like their coach would bring a 30-pack or 2 30-packs of beers to team film sessions.
I gotta say, drinking is
Team film sessions.
Yo,
drinking
I'm
is
in the
way
wrong
more-
country right now. This is an
drinking
issue.
more acceptable
Yeah.
in other parts of the world.
Dude,
Well, do you want to talk to Wisconsin? Wisconsin is very acceptable.
Okay.
Wisconsin has the most. I fucking worked in Milwaukee. Wisconsin has the most amount of alcohol consumed per capita by any other state, and it's by a It's not even close,
I would not
dude.
expect that.
It's cheese and alcohol down there. They don't give a fudge. No swearing.
Is Green Bay like the football team in Wisconsin?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like where they have the cheese heads?
Yes.
That makes sense.
I went to the stadium. I didn't really give a singular.
So I saw them play versus the
But-
Miami Dolphins in Florida, actually. That's how because everyone was wearing a block of cheese on their head. I was like, what the hell is going on? And keep in mind, I don't really know football or
Cheese
anything,
heads.
so I was like, what the
Cheese
hell is
heads.
going on?
Yeah.
So they'll practice once a week, play once a week, and maybe like a couple times, once or twice a month, have a film session. Coach will bring 2 30-packs of beers, and they just watch film, and
Now I
you
see
have
receipt.
5 beers watching film.
Now I see where Steve and Jonas get it from.
Yeah, life is so different over there, dude.
Why is New Zealand the spot? Because you say you've been to Germany, Puerto Rico, all these spots. Why is New Zealand the one spot you would want to live in?
I like I don't know the people. I think like they're really approachable. Like I'd feel comfortable. I mean, not that I don't feel comfortable here, but I think if like I use this example, if you fell down in New York City on the street, nobody's gonna like try to help you up because they just see people homeless all the time. They're walking past a million people that they're never gonna see again. Like you become
Everyone's
like,
for themselves.
They're very
you become
desensitized.
cold. You become desensitized. But in New Zealand, it's like the opposite. Everybody's kind of sensitized, and I don't want to paint like too rosy a picture. Like there are grumpy people there, there's unhappy people and angry people, but it's just like people care about each other, just like as a basic human, like a standard of human respect. That's pretty cool.
Was the weather nice over there?
Yeah, it's like a temperate climate. So
Compare it to a U.S. state, if that's even possible.
I don't know if that's possible because they get winds from like Antarctica, but they're also like in the middle of the ocean. So I'd say it's temperate. Like it never gets too cold, but it never really gets that hot.
But it's just consistent.
So just like you.
Okay.
But it's consistent.
Temperate.
It's consistent.
I'll take that. Yeah, it's pretty consistent. They have a winter and they have a summer, so it's not like.
But how
all
cold
the
does the winter
time.
get?
It doesn't snow, at least in
Are you wearing a sweatshirt?
parts of it.
Are you
Yeah.
busting out the Christmas hoodie?
Oh,
I'm gonna quickly
getting
Google what the coldest temperature in New
holiday
Zealand is.
sweater and jacket.
Let me
too.
Google.
Like, it's
Put it in
super
Celsius.
windy. It's a very windy place.
Okay. But it's on the water, right?
Well,
Is it?
It's a country, so it's a large island. So it depends where you are, but
There are
in
places
Dunedin-
that are on the water.
In Dunedin, you're on the coast. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
You go surfing at all? Is surfing
yeah.
big there?
Yeah.
Really?
The surf is actually really good.
Really?
And I really didn't know anything about it till I went
Have you
there.
been surfing before you went there?
Like I took a lesson in Florida when I was a kid.
Like on the beach?
Yeah, yeah. But
Negative
I
10.
didn't have any experience.
I say on the beach
Negative
because
ten.
Negative, not
Fahrenheit?
Celsius. Celsius. Celsius.
negative
Celsius.
10s right now.
No, but that's the coldest it gets in winter.
That's pretty cold.
It's very cold. But like,
That's like here climate.
no, that's like, kind of.
No,
Yeah.
it's not even. It doesn't even get to negative
I
10
gotta
here.
say, while I was there, it never snowed.
It does say, it
You were
does,
also there in the summer.
let me preface,
And then it went to like I was there in like the.
Wait, what do you mean you?
it does say, it.
Wait, let's see what. Hold on.
I'm going to kill myself.
Finish what you're saying.
It says it varies hugely by the region. So exactly what he said, like depending on where you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are the seasons opposite over there because it's on the other side of the world? So like
Yeah,
it.
it's not because it's on the other side. It's because it's on the southern hemisphere.
So the southern hemisphere, the winter is like July or is like May to September.
Yeah, our summer's their winter.
That's weird.
It is weird.
Because the sun's on their side versus our side. You know what I mean?
I don't really know how it works.
I feel like
It's
I knew
axial
that.
tilt. So like,
Okay, yeah, science man.
Probably, you're right. You're right.
I'm being dead ass because the Earth doesn't just spin in a perfect circle. It rotates on an axis, so it goes like this.
Like a globe.
That's right.
Yes. So like when it rotates here, the part of the globe that's closer to the sun is warmer versus when it's all the way over here, it's colder.
In theory, that makes sense. I just have never thought about that before, ever. That's actually like kind of surreal to think about.
It's also why like places that are in the dead center of the Earth stay very, very, very hot all
Yeah,
the
near
time
the
because they're spinning closer to the sun all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah.
It was,
actually kind
it
of
was
cool.
weird.
It's way too
I
much
never thought about
science
that.
going on right now.
I never thought about that actually before. This is what we have Addy on who has new life experiences.
That we're lacking.
that
We've been
we're
doing this for
definitely
way
lacking.
too long.
So what do you call it? So we can help educate. I guarantee you some people listening did not know that. I guarantee you some people
Yeah.
did not know that.
Shout out to
Is there any other experiences that you had in New Zealand that you're like carrying with you as life lessons possibly?
Ooh, tough question.
Even something like very simple, like the thing you just said about the people and being nicer to you and that kind of thing. Like very
Yeah.
simple things that you picked up on. And you're like, I like that. I'm going to take that and
Yeah.
use that somehow.
Yeah, definitely. I think being like I learned because being with a whole group of new people, you have to like kind of figure out who you want to be around these new people because it's like a fresh start. You can kind of be whoever you want to be.
And there's different social standards and all kinds of different stuff going on there that you're like self-regulating.
Yeah, so that was like for me that was kind of like figuring out taught me who I really want to be when I'm meeting new people. And also I learned that the people I had the best interactions with who made me the happiest when I was meeting them were people who like actually listened to me, made lots of eye contact, paid attention, and like asked good questions. Like they're actually interested in whatever I'm talking about. So I tried to do the same thing because I was like, oh, that made me feel good. Let me try to when I meet someone, I'll do the same thing because then you actually make connections.
You think people just have more of those habits in New Zealand just because, like you said, it's more of like a friendly interaction type of environment that people grow up in, as opposed to like everyone for themselves, everyone's focusing on their own thing and worried about like just looking down one foot in front of the other until they get to their destination, as opposed to, like you said before, people are more warm and welcoming, and maybe it's just like how they brought up, but they pick up those habits and customs.
Yeah, let me explain that in the way New Zealanders think about Americans.
Okay.
And it's rather stereotypical, but it's more often true than not true.
Okay.
So they think of Americans as being focused on themselves, like a lot. Americans think about money, their career, and themselves, and buying stuff. That's how they see Americans.
Capitalism.
They think Americans are all fat and love fast food.
Did you break that stereotype?
Yeah,
I feel like you go over there. You're also, I mean, to be honest with you, because me and Chris and I are not Americans, but I feel like you going over to New Zealand, like you're definitely not representing the stereotype of an American that they would think. You know what I mean? I feel like you're soft-spoken. I feel like you're an intelligent guy. Like,
You said Americans aren't intelligent?
They don't think so.
Really?
that's a big stereotype. It's like just care about money, stupid, whatever. Like dumb Americans. You never heard of that? Like I meant more just like well-spoken. Like I meant more like emotional intelligence. Is more of what I meant. I was like well-spoken. You know what I'm talking about?
Maybe I like surprised some people. Were like,
That's what I'm saying. I think you definitely could have surprised some people. So I feel like you don't give off selfish, focus only on yourself type of person.
Thank you.
So.
Appreciate that.
I feel like you're welcome.
Yeah, but there's an interesting saying.
Chris, on the other hand.
Oh, yeah, this guy, whatever. There's an interesting saying. It's like Americans work to live, and New Zealanders. Oh no, Americans live to work, and New Zealanders work to live. So the Americans are focused on their career, making money, and New Zealanders are just trying to get by, and work is just a way to make a living. And the rest of the time, they're going to be focused on their relationships, like their family and their friends.
So you're saying more Americans are more focused on the 9 to 5, New Zealand's more focused on the 5 to 9 type of thing?
Yeah.
Bars. So now having that experience, how can you kind of take that and apply that over here to the American lifestyle?
I think it applies directly to like what I want to do. Like,
what do you want to do?
Do I want to? And I've been talking to my dad about this. It's like, do I want to go directly into the field that I've been studying, which is accounting? And
Same.
Yeah, I don't know.
No.
I've talked to a lot of people some even in New Zealand, who have just kind of burnt out, run away from the industry, and just decided to do something completely different. And that really gives me some pause. And I really think about, do I really want to be an accountant? And do I have to? Like, is there direct pressure on me becoming an accountant right after I graduate? And the answer is no. And I think I'm going to go travel. I think I'm going to spend 6 months to a year.
Where?
Just
back in New Zealand? Or
first thing is going to be, I'm going to go visit my friend in South America. So he's going to go finish his law degree in Brazil, Sao Paulo, and I'm going to go down and see him. He's going to, after he finishes his degree, so we can go like backpacking and travel around.
That's so.
Yeah, that's the plan.
I want to travel. I used to hate traveling. Traveling used to cause me so much stress and anxiety.
I can see that.
Really?
Like I hate, dude. The airport
Because
is the worst
he's
thing in the
so
entire
like
world.
rigid and oriented, and he needs things to be laid out in front of him. So
tight
any
headed,
like
for
any
sure.
any small wind that blows things off course, where it's like, well, the plane's delayed, this is happening, would send him up a wall.
Yeah, I hate
I can
traveling.
see that.
I hate, and also especially just because I kind of have a fear of heights. On top of that, a little bit claustrophobic and motion sickness as well.
bad
Dude,
combo.
I would
Airplane combo.
I would have so much anxiety going there. I hate traveling, but I took so I went to Israel on this like program for 2 weeks with a couple of my best friends my senior year. It's actually kind of cool. I think I talked about it on the podcast a little bit ago. Basically, at my prep school in Ohio, the last 2 weeks of the semester, or 3 weeks of the semester, all seniors are exempt from school and they have to go get like a internship or co-op or job shadow or do something not related to school, but an experience.
Okay, that's cool.
And fortunately, there was a trip that was leaving, because there's like trips that go all throughout the summertime to Israel from this program. It's called Birthright. And pretty much it's some wealthy Jewish investors made this program that they believe that every Jewish person should be able to go to Israel at least once in their life for free. So you apply, and if you get accepted to the trip, you go to Israel for 12 days for free. So you don't pay a cent.
That's really cool.
You have to pay for one meal a day. So you get jumped like 500 shekels, which is like,
It's a bargain.
yeah. So it's an unbelievable experience. We're staying at good hotels, eating good food. I went with a couple of my friends, and I somehow maneuvered my way into this being counting for my internship thing.
Nice.
I ended up having to like do a TED Talk presentation about my experience in front of the whole school.
Okay.
But that was dope as well. But I hated traveling before that. And I went with but I also like was going with my parents and my mom's nagging me, and we're going out flying at 6 a.m. because it's cheaper than flying during the day, and we're like, it's just the worst.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm going to Florida with my parents and my family in 2 weeks, and I'm very much looking forward to it. But I mean, as a kid, dragging my suitcase through the airport, half asleep, my mom's rushing because my mom needs to be there. She's like me, she needs to be there an hour and a half, sitting at the gate before. I don't feel well, it's brutal. But I went with my friends, and it was a completely different experience, and I had an amazing time, and it really opened up my eyes to like, that was the first time that's the farthest I've ever been from. I've been to other countries, and I've been out of North America before, but that was by far the farthest I've ever been. And that opened my eyes to like travel and how just such a unique experience it could be.
That's cool.
Yeah. If you could go to one
everybody
place,
needs to have that.
Yeah.
It's
It really opens your eyes
A lot
up.
of people are stuck in that. Like I know people. I have friends who don't have passports because they don't see
The value.
a reason to
Yeah.
have a passport.
Definitely.
And it just kind of blows my mind. It's like if you could just have.
To be
one
fair
experience.
though, like we are coming from a place of fortune.
Yeah, we are. Right,
Because
true.
being able to travel is a luxury, and you do need a certain level of financial ability in order to support that. Like you said, like you don't need to work. Like, do you need to work and go into accounting right after school?
Yeah.
Like, fortunately, no. And I know that you reckon. I'm not saying this to like lecture you. Like, obviously, I know that you recognize that.
Yeah.
But yeah, traveling is dope, and anyone who has the opportunity to do it. Where if you could, because I know you, first time he was on a plane, dude. Listen, I didn't tell you the story. So
Wisconsin was the first time.
No, leaving for winter break last year was the first time he ever went on a plane before, and I gave him a bit. He drove here, so he doesn't have any like loot. Oh, can't speak.
Say loot? What are we doing?
I was suitcase and luggage. I combined.
Forgot my gray AR in the airport.
Yo, you might get censored for that one. They might pull you over at TSA for that one.
I really hope not.
He had no like luggage, no suitcase, no anything. So I gave him this big ass CCM duffel bag that like I brought all my stuff in. He was under my bed, and he took his duffel bag and he brought it all the way through the airport
To the gates.
To the gate.
He didn't check it.
And he didn't check it. And then he didn't realize that at the door, like at the gate or whatever, you could still check it.
Yeah.
So he walked all the way back through the airport.
Through TSA, through the line.
Security?
Yeah.
I had to go through twice because I went through, but first of all, surely they should say something. I walked through the line where like you put your stuff down. I put down my shoes, my backpack, everything, in a 50-pound duffel bag just right in the X-ray machine, and no one said anything. So I was like, okay, this must be the right way to do it. They would have stopped me by now. But
Yeah, Chris is very unexperienced with traveling. If you could go to one place in the
It
world,
is
where
kind
would
of
it be?
amazing.
first of all, it's not going to be on the North American continent. Like I need to get off of this
To
continent.
be fair though, too, like the closest airport to Chris is 3 hours away, as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, traveling like it's super difficult, especially like Chris lives on a farm and parents don't really like technology. I'm sure your parents fuck with planes, definitely not.
I don't even know if
there's
they've
no
ever
way your
been on a
dad.
plane.
Glenn does. Not
I think
trust-
he might have been. I think their honeymoon was in Alaska.
That's fire. Do you think he trusts
think so.
planes though? If he doesn't even have a phone, he don't trust planes.
It's not that he doesn't trust a phone. It's that it's too much of a hassle for him to get it now at this point.
And you don't think it would be too much of a hassle for him to drive 3 hours and then
learn how to
fly
Well,
and then?
I think I'm sure he must have gotten on a plane to go to Alaska.
I mean, I don't think he can drive there.
It's a long drive.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure he must have gotten on a plane. I don't know. I'd have to ask my father this. Where would I go if I could go anywhere?
Yeah.
Probably Iceland.
Iceland?
I think Iceland. Because I'm pretty sure. Have you
dope.
ever seen The Secret Life of Walter Mitty?
Yeah, I love that movie.
Dude, I think it was filmed in Iceland, no?
Yeah. They said it's Iceland because Iceland is green.
Yes.
And Greenland is Iceland.
Yes, that's exactly where I would go. Because that movie is
What
incredible.
is it? It's just like the show
It's
scenery?
basically it's like this guy named Walter Mitty. He works for a magazine company, and he's like a really boring 9-to-5 life or whatever. And throughout the movie, he basically goes and does all the things he wants to do. But the backstory is that they forgot one of the covers of the magazines, like the secret photo. He's chasing this guy that's his boss through like the mountains and all this crazy stuff. And it's basically just a crazy travel movie, and it's awesome.
It's like a self-discovery adventure movie.
Yeah, like throughout the process of traveling, he discovers himself.
He starts as like, it's interesting. I watched like a video deconstructing it, and it's like the camera in the beginning of the movie is very rigid, and it follows him, and he's like a very like type A person, and he works and doesn't have very good social skills, and he has these daydreams where he's like saving a dog from a burning building. He's doing like something crazy, and he's having this daydream where he kind of like he blacks out for a minute and has this daydream, and like it shows it, and then he's back, and he's like missed his train or something. And over the course of the movie, he has less and less daydreams as he starts to like actually do stuff and have adventures. He doesn't have these daydreams anymore because he doesn't need them. And the camera starts moving more, and he starts like being more confident and comfortable. It's cool.
And by the end of the movie, he's just an absolute downright savage. There's one scene where he's chasing this guy, right? So he gets off of a helicopter, he like jumps in the water, and there's like sharks and stuff, and then he gets on land, and there's no cars or anything, and there's like an avalanche happening behind him. So he's like running from the avalanche. So he takes 2 rocks and puts them under his hand, and he rips his tie in half and ties the rocks to his hands, jumps on a skateboard, and starts like flying through the mountains and using the rocks as like brakes and stuff. It's nuts.
That's dope.
It's a sick
What's it called?
movie.
Walter?
Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
Yeah. Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
Yeah, it's a fire movie. But
That's dope.
Oh, what's his name?
Alaska.
the actor?
Yeah, the actor. He wrote the movie too.
Did he?
He either wrote it or directed it.
Why do you want to go to Spain?
Well, first of all, one of my best friends from my prep school in Ohio is from Spain, and a lot of people, like, it's an international boarding school, and so there's a ton of people from Spain, from France, from like some like Korea or like some like Japan, like all countries all over the place. But most of my closer friends who were from international are from Spain, so I have a good amount of friends there. And I just heard some crazy stories just about the nightlife there. Seems dope. The food is unbelievable. The scenery, weather is awesome.
Oh, speaking, did you hear about the floods in Valencia?
Did not.
It's like the largest
Caused by
flooding that's
caused by
that's ever
rain or
happened.
caused by
It's like the largest storm hit Spain
storm?
that's ever happened.
Dude, there's so much happening right now. Like, I saw a thing. You know who Dylan Page is on TikTok?
Yeah.
He's the news guy. Bro, he had like a 4-minute long video like explaining everything that's happening. It's insane. You can't possibly keep up with all of it. Like, there's so much
That's why I
stuff going on
don't.
right
There
now.
are times where I see
so
something on my
much.
For You page and just scroll and be like, I just don't want to use my energy to like, this is just not
My
even
emotions
worth
and all this to be tied to this event that has absolutely nothing to do with me.
It's not even worth it. And I wouldn't even.
It's hard. I think there's like something to be said though for like keeping like a baseline
Definitely.
awayness.
Definitely.
Like you should.
I think I have a
you
decent
should, like, put
baseline
effort into
of
it.
what's
I think
going
you have more
on.
than a baseline awareness of what's going on.
Do I?
Yeah.
I have a question.
All right.
I know a lot of people who are like contemplating travel, specifically my best friend. He's like dancing around the idea of getting a passport.
Sam?
Like, yeah, Sam. He wants to
He's
get a
never
passport.
been out of Aiden
No,
before?
he doesn't have a passport. And he's been like trying to get his passport, but like what will happen is he'll get all the stuff, because you obviously can't just walk in and get a passport. Like, you have to get things signed and do all this stuff. He'll go through the process of getting everything signed, and then he'll wait like 3 months, and it'll expire, and he'll have to do it again. So for people who are contemplating travel, but they can't push themselves over the edge, just like make the decision and go out and spend the money, or finally just decide to travel, what would you tell that person to justify to them why they should finally just do it? Like the valuable things that you've experienced, what would you tell them?
I'd say, I mean, my experiences have been very structured, but I've had friends, really close friends, who have lived really unstructured travel experiences. So doesn't need to be a huge budget. Your travel budget can be really slim. It helps if you're skilled at traveling, but it's something you can kind of figure out as you go. Like, getting your passport is not expensive. That's for him. That's just like he needs to just follow through with getting the passport. But you could just
Call him out.
You can book a
Tell he's being lazy.
man.
Say get off Elden Ring.
No, I
His
understand.
name's- his name's
life
Sam.
gets in the way. Like, I don't want to bash
Elden
this
Ring
guy.
and shit.
But if you book a flight somewhere, you can just figure it out when you get there. Like, if you have some money, and even if you don't have some money, you could try to find a job. You could try to find under the table work to make some cash. You could just work on this guy's farm just for having a place to stay for a night or whatever. And you can make things work one day at a time. Like,
People
things
really
can
do
line
that
up.
too.
And
That's
people
a crazy life to live.
You can live like that.
Honestly,
And
I kind of want to do that.
I would.
It's super educational.
I think you would be very successful at backpacking or like just going and rubbing sticks together to like make a fire and then cooking a singular hot dog over it.
You'd be good at
Yeah.
like freestyle, like figuring it out.
I think so, which is why I'm like debating doing it too. Which is why I almost like when I'm asking for Sam, I'm almost asking for me. Like,
You want to go travel somewhere after we graduate, like graduation trip?
here's the problem with me dragging you along is it's kind of like Ben, where it's like you wake up and for most people, I'm pretty sure you're this way too because you're very nonchalant and things don't bother you. I'm assuming if me and you went on a trip together, what did you just say? If me and you went on a trip together, it would be like we wake up, we would need like an orange, and then whatever we want to go do that day, we could just go do. It wouldn't take much stuff going on. He would need a 30-minute makeover, some massages, a sauna, and all this stuff. And for somebody who doesn't need that, that's a giant waste of time. And I can't drag somebody like that with me. Like with Ben, I could never travel with Ben because he's just so lackadaisical and there's never a sense of urgency. Like we would get in the car and it would take him 15 minutes to leave the parking spot because he's changing a song. Or like when we're leaving, I'm like, yo, we're going to Planet Fitness at 12 o'clock. I get to his room at 12:05. He's in the middle of a Clash Royale game, not dressed, like he's just never ready to do the thing on time.
Okay, but you think that I'm not punctual and do the thing ready on time?
No, you're very punctual. You're just too high maintenance.
I think I would be bitching a lot.
I think
especially
you would.
I would be bitching.
You would, but
I would be
think you
bitching.
would figure it out.
I know I'd be bitching. I was more saying like, I'm not the type of person you want to go like backpacking with. But I think we'd have a good time going like somewhere and just like vibing out, maybe having some excursions and shit.
I'd be so down as long as it's structured for you.
So okay.
It's something you.
So you'd have to come along with my structure. I couldn't go along with your structure.
Exactly.
Okay. So I'll figure it out. I would be
Like,
guys should do that.
Because more structure is not going to harm me, but less structure is definitely going to harm you.
Yeah. I want to go. I want to travel a little bit after I graduate, like that summer.
No, I see a lot of value in it, specifically because I've barely even left Canada. I've just come down here. And like the preconceived notions that people have of Americans, even in Canada, is like my mom will regularly email me because she sees all this stuff of like Donald Trump just got elected and all this stuff. And she'll be like, are there any riots? Have you seen anyone get shot? She's partially being sarcastic, but like she full on expects people. And I haven't even heard, nobody's talked about it. Like no one really, at least in college that I've been talking to, gives a shit who the president is. Like, and they seem to, like, the view of Americans from Canada standards is that they're very reactive to that kind of thing.
I think you spoke I think a lot of people give a shit about who the president is. I think that we go to a small school where a lot of the people who live on campus are more like athletes who are just concerned about that and focus on other things. Mm-hmm. But I think if you went to a big school where there's all different types of people, there would be, and also like it's like a snowball effect. Like if one person's pissed about something, they're not really going to do much by themselves. But if you have a group of people who are all pissed about something, then they can collaborate and make ideas to maybe have a riot or a protest. I think just here there's not enough of people in those groups. But at a big school where there's so many more people, there are so many more people who do care about that stuff to cling on to and bounce ideas off of and make actual action. Because like, dude, there I guarantee you at like UMass or at big schools, there was definitely like displayings of
I drove
frustration.
through UMass while the protests were happening. Like the Gaza protests. Like
I can't speak for those. I've lived in 3 blue states, haven't experienced any of that. But yeah.
No, it's young people definitely care. It's just like there's like so much going on for us in the media, like that we get distracted by.
Yeah. It's too much to try and be concerned with all of it. Like, you can't care about all of it.
People just get stuck on like little things and miss the big picture 99% of the time. Like, yeah. And being in New Zealand, it's kind of like New Zealanders especially and other foreigners are watching America kind of like a soap opera, like it's
Definitely.
a TV show. Like it's just kind of like we're like almost a circus.
It's the only country that the entire world is focused on to see what happens. Like no one else cares what the politics are in New Zealand, Australia, anywhere else. But like
it is super
American,
impactful though. It is like the American politics is super impactful in terms of like what happens. Like for example, like Trump gets in office, and I mean, listen, yeah, exactly, put a tariff on everybody. Stock market's up crazy now because Trump. It's just like the philosophies and like what the person in power wants to do has so much influence to change the way things are run. Like Trump, didn't he like overturn Roe v. Wade and give the abortion back to the states? Like there's so much, I don't want to say fluctuation, but like the president can change so much, I guess.
I mean, now more than ever. I mean, I don't think it used to be that way. There was a time when the president really didn't have that much effect, and I think now today, it's
like there's so much.
Donald Trump has kind of changed that. I mean, he's like
I don't know if that's necessarily true. I think it's just amplified by the media, and now it's just louder. Like I think the effects they had were the same.
He said he wants to change a lot of things, though.
What's politics like in New Zealand?
Right now, so their whole scale, we have the right and the left.
Sure.
Their whole scale is shifted to the left. So their conservatives are more like our moderates, and their progressives are like more progressive.
So it's less extreme.
It's
Only one way extreme.
it's more extreme towards the left, I'd say. I mean, I wouldn't say extreme.
So they're more liberal in the sense.
They're more liberal.
Okay.
They're more progressive. Yeah.
I don't know. I just think it's
The
crazy
current
that
government
like,
is their right wing, which is like essentially our moderates.
I just think it's crazy that like Trump gets in office and has like obviously he's very capitalism oriented,
Yeah.
and like stock market just goes like so much influence. Like businesses are now have more money, and like stocks are going through
Stock
the
market's
roof,
going
and stock market's
crazy.
going through the roof, and cryptocurrency, and just because it was shifted from Joe Biden's presidency to Donald Trump's presidency, like the impact, just like businesses wise, is so crazy. Like so much. I don't even know what the word I was looking for before was.
Impactful.
Yeah, just impactful, I guess.
I'm curious about. So did your dad travel in his college days?
In his college days?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he stayed and he went to grad school here in the States, but he traveled within the country.
Where did he go to grad school?
He did a summer in Wyoming working at a ranch. He went to Boston College, and he went to grad school at University of Minnesota in Minneapolis.
I was going to say, like, how much of an influence did he have on your decision to travel?
Huge. He's the guy who suggested that I do the Knowles program, which is when I went to Alaska.
This guy's been everywhere, bro. What the fuck?
You said, did you reference that before and I
No,
wasn't paying attention?
he left
Or this
that- he
is
left
a
that out,
completely
left that
new
out.
thing.
Forgot it.
The Knowles, what is the Knowles program in Alaska?
So it was a National Outdoor Leadership School. That's what the acronym stands for.
How old were you when you went there?
That was 2 summers ago. So I was.
Damn, so in the
19.
summer you're really just out here. You're just doing stuff.
It's because of my parents. Like they afford me the ability to do that.
That's amazing.
But they also have these ideas. Like they have friends who have been Knowles counselors, or my dad's just encouraging me to find something. So
That's awesome.
I really got to give him a lot of credit. Yeah, but it was an outdoor leadership school. So I was camping. We were camping in Alaska, and we were like off trail. There's no trails out there, so we were just like route planning on maps. And we were 30 days in the bush. It was cool.
That's
I would have
Chris's
died.
dream.
I would have died. No, I'm directionally retarded. I would have died. I would have died. There's no way.
I thought you meant like I would have died to do that. No, you would have just been dead.
I would have been dead. There's no. I
you wouldn't.
You have people guiding you.
There was people on that trip, kids who were like, their parents had like pushed them into doing it because they were like, this kid needs to figure it out. And so
This kid is getting eaten by an alligator. Really amplify his life.
Polar bear.
and so there's people who like couldn't cook their own food, they didn't know how to set up a tent, they couldn't read a map.
Dude, I can set up a tent.
And that's
No,
why
you
they were
couldn't.
there
100% I
to
could.
learn those skills.
And I can
you
cook my own
would've-
food,
you
too.
would have been fine. You would have handled it well.
You'd be
You do have to shift your mind though. You have to be like, oh, like my food fell on the floor, like I don't have a sink to wash it in.
Chris,
I
you know
might
the
as well
5 second
brush it
rule?
off and eat it. Yeah.
Chris is more like the 5 hour rule. If it's been on the floor for
what?
less than
Oh,
5
the
hours, if it's been on the floor for less than 5 hours, and it has, depending on how much protein
yeah,
it
I
has,
love that
it's
rule.
valid.
I'm more like the 1 week rule. If something hasn't been washed in a week, it's probably okay.
You wanna
2
hear
weeks,
something?
maybe not so much. 3 weeks, nah.
Dude, we'll go to Chipotle. Like, we're gonna go to Chipotle after this.
What the could this possibly be about
Dude,
right
Chris
now?
will get his Chipotle bowl, but if he has already hit his calories for the day, he'll just leave the Chipotle bowl out on the desk and just eat it the next day.
They're not fire.
Again, I mean, I've
Have you ever had-
before, but you can't. You're not supposed to do that, right? The
Have
meat-
you ever had you've had leftover Chipotle before?
Yeah, but maybe it was from the fridge.
I usually finish my Chipotle.
Me too.
I do too. I always finish it. I don't think I've had a
Can
single
we go
one
off
I
this?
didn't finish.
I need to text. I'm starving.
Yeah.
Hey, Chipotle?
Yeah. Like after we wrap this
Right
up.
after this? I don't care. I was going to ask you, because you brought up the structured versus non-structured traveling. You haven't tried any non-structured traveling.
No.
Does that interest you at all?
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm planning on doing this coming summer when I graduate in Brazil. I think it's going to take more planning than the structured ones, because the structured ones you just sign
You
up,
show up.
you go with your family, or you do a study. Like I'm studying abroad. Like they have all this. They have housing planned. They have things that I'm going to be doing, obviously. But
You're just gonna go figure it out.
I got it. Like you have to
Like
plan
Minecraft.
it out. Like my friends have gone through Southeast Asia. They've done like Thailand and Vietnam, It's like
Dude,
you have to
can get,
book
a
hostels.
pho for in Vietnam for like $2,
So cheap.
I think.
It's cheap,
like
but you have to
$1.50.
figure it
Oh,
out.
there's a joke I was gonna make, but I'm gonna leave that there. It's not
it was
good.
about Oscar?
It's not. No. It's about Vietnam marriage. It's not good.
Okay.
Not good.
All right.
But yeah, no, that's dope.
Yeah, I think what I would recommend to your friend is like, I mean, do you know who Anthony Bourdain is?
Of course.
Yeah, I think.
Love him.
Oh no, it is.
He's a
you
famous
gotta-
chef that he has this huge documentary. First of all, he committed suicide in 2015.
I think it was like later. I think it was like 2017.
2017. He committed suicide. He was a famous chef,
Rest in
and
peace.
he was like all about new experiences. He has a quote somewhere where it says, "Try a drink at a bar, do this." He's like this crazy new experience guy, and he had a huge documentary.
Drink heavily with the locals as much as possible.
Like he was just huge on new experience. I'm gonna find an Anthony
You
Bourdain quote.
experience more of the culture.
No, I actually saw something.
hanging out with locals.
You're gonna
Tourists.
be able to speak on this, Chris. Actually, I didn't mean to cut you off. Were you finished?
No, yeah, I'm done.
Okay. It's like your life feels longer the more you experience new things, because your brain has like neural pathways. Chris, I'm gonna need you to back up the science here.
Hold on, I'm trying to find the
I'm
quote.
curious, where's this?
All right. Your brain has like neural pathways, and when you get into routine and habit, your brain does not form new neural pathways, and so time passes by faster. But you do new experiences, and you do new things, and you try new things, and you experience new things in life, and your brain has to accommodate and makes new neural pathways, and that results in time passing by slower.
I can almost comment that. There's a analogy that
That makes
people
sense? Yeah.
somewhat. There's an analogy people use in terms of psychedelics and when they're talking about therapy and stuff like that. So like they talk about your thoughts being like sleds that come down a snowy hill. And once you have the same thought over and over again, the paths down the hill become fairly well grooved. And so even if you slide down the hill over here, the odds that you get dragged back down to the path are pretty similar. And what psychedelics do is they flatten the hill. And so you have these giant, broad spectrum of thoughts you've never thought in your entire life before, and the entire hill goes flat. And then everything, it's all whatever you want. It's a free for all.
I've kind of been like, not about psychedelics, but
Dabbling.
But microdosing like for the last week. I'm just kidding.
just about like life, like thinking about that. Because I do sometimes feel like I'm, like Chris said, I'm very routine organized, but also like, I mean, I'm in a dual major. I'm playing back switches. I mean, I have same classes Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, or Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We practice the same time every single day. Like life does feel very, very structured and very repetitive, and it feels like it goes by quickly. Like I can't believe it's all the end of the first semester. Like, can you believe you're graduating? Like that's insane.
It's crazy. I don't feel like
And
it's senior in
so
college.
whenever I do have an opportunity to experience something new, I do think back to that of how quickly time flies, even though it may feel slow at some times, or it may feel the future so distant away. Take advantage of those things, just because I know that, like, I want to create those new experiences, because I mean I'm enjoying it. I want to make it last as long as possible.
Yeah.
I found the Anthony Bourdain quote, by the way. Would you like to hear it?
Sure.
Eat at a local restaurant tonight, get the cream sauce, have a cold pint at a 4 o'clock in a mostly empty bar, go somewhere you've never been, listen to something you think may have nothing in common with you, order the steak rare, eat an oyster, have a Negroni, have
People are
two.
gonna eat the steak rare on this team.
Be open to a world where you may not understand or agree with the person next to you, but have a drink with them anyways. Eat slowly, tip your server, check in on your friends, check in on yourself, enjoy the ride. Dude's
Yeah,
dope.
no, he's a legend for sure. I think he's a kind of pioneer of this like new wave of young people wanting to get out there.
How come? Do we know why he committed suicide?
He's
battling?
struggled. I mean, I've read a couple of his books. He struggled in his working life as a chef with like heavy drug use, and as he got older, that was the drug use was to
Just
kind
like
of cope
maintain
with like mental
functioning?
problems he had
Okay.
throughout the whole time. So he didn't have. I mean, he was very sound of mind. Like when it comes to writing, he's a great writer, but yeah, like living was getting like hard for him, I guess. He's done everything, and I don't want to like. You can never do everything, but he was struggling. Like he just couldn't be here anymore, so he just did it.
Do you read a lot?
Not as much as I'd like. I'm really actually these next 6 weeks. I'm not taking any classes. I'm really trying to like make.
How many
list
books do you
and
think you
unlock it.
will read in 6 weeks?
I think I can do. If I'm reading a lot, probably like 4.
I will have read in 6 weeks.
That's not even a lot.
What's
It's not, but
42?
no way, not flexing or anything. But like
6 weeks, 7 days a week, 5 pages a day. 42 days in 6 weeks. Times 7, times
you
5.
said you didn't want to do anything. The math on this is breaking my brain.
I read 5 pages a day of a
Nice.
book.
Weird flex, but okay.
Wait, I'm gonna do the math real quick. You said
5 pages.
42.
a day.
how many weeks?
6 weeks, so 7 days a week. It's 42 days
Yeah,
times 5.
times 5.
I'll have read 210 pages, so that's about half a book. And I'm content with that. But
Who recommended you that book,
You
though?
do 10 pages a day.
my grandfather.
Oh, I thought it was the book that I gave you.
I read that already. Come on, now 1 book done already. That's you. Come on.
I really haven't been reading it all lately. It's bad.
You need to read that book
Yo.
that you gave me. You need to reread it.
I need to read the book that I gave him.
Yeah, but you didn't finish it. You didn't finish it.
I didn't finish it.
Do you guys mess with audiobooks?
I have 2
I would-
on my phone that I haven't listened to.
I would much prefer an audiobook.
I
But
love audiobooks.
I do want to strengthen my reading skills. I feel I have a very, not that I can't read. I can't read. No, I feel my, I don't know what the word, not patience, just
you
like,
gotta be disciplined to sit there and read.
yeah, exactly.
For
Yeah.
whatever, 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Not
just-
look at anything else.
just like the focus it takes, the discipline to do it every single day. Especially I do it like before bed, so sometimes I'm tired, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
And just like, the only word I can think about is just like durability. Like I just can't read for a long time before I just get super bored. And just like the consistency in doing that, I think is important for me.
Even with books you really like. Have you ever English?
No, I have been like,
Immersed in a book?
yeah, I have. This book called Looking for Alaska by I don't know who, and it was freshman year. It was a mandatory book we had to read for class, and I finished it. I was always a couple chapters ahead. I went to go watch one of my sister's like plays for her like elementary school play or whatever. And my parents dragged me along, and the whole time I just read this book.
It's a John
And my
Green book.
parents like wanted to yell at me because like I was being disrespectful and I wasn't watching.
But you were reading.
But I was reading a
kinda
book,
hard.
so it's like, and I never read, so it's like they couldn't really say anything. It was, but that was
So you
one-
might just need a good book, bro.
There's been and another book by the
It's
same
hard.
author.
Even like when you're reading to learn something, you have to force yourself.
I'm reading right now. So the book I read before was about habits.
What book? Is it Atomic Habits?
No.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not,
it was.
No, it's not. Atomic Habits is by James Clear. The one I gave you is.
I'm pretty sure it's Atomic Habits.
No, I know it's not because I gave it to you.
Oh, okay.
I think it's The Power of Habit.
Power of Habit.
Started
Maybe?
Atomic Habits.
Now I'm reading like a stock market book.
It's The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. That's what it is.
It's yellow.
Yeah, yellow and red. Well, I gave it to you.
You haven't seen it in a while.
Are
but
you
forgot.
interested in the stock market?
I'm big time interested. I'm a finance major. I'm accounting and finance.
I
But
would
I'm
give you-
much more interested in finance.
I would give you a book too. I gave this to one of my buddies back home. It was oh my god, it's been so long since I thought of this title. It's basically this high level investor. He made hundreds of millions of dollars. Breaks down
Warren
how
Buffett?
no, it's trust me, I know who Warren Buffett is.
Abe Woolman?
It's how the average guy. It's how the average guy can beat the experts in the stock market, and how they actually do have advantages. So like when you're going to the store, you get to see the product first and see it take off before anybody else registers in the stock market. Like you do have advantages as the small guy in the stock market, and he breaks down what those are and how you can use them. But I lost that book.
I don't know enough to say that I disagree with that. But
Sounds interesting. You should try to
I'm reading 25 stupid mistakes to not make in the stock market.
Okay.
I'm learning a bunch.
25 stupid mistakes.
What are your top 3 books that you've read?
I like this David Brooks book.
Keep talking.
Is it still going?
Yeah.
Keep talking. We'll have to wrap it up in a few minutes though.
Yeah. How to Know a Person.
Okay. What's it about exactly?
Basically like a self-help book, but it's also, yeah, essentially that's what it is. But it's teaching you how to see people and know people and how to like be seen. And it's pretty cool. It's like you want to be, like I said earlier, like you want to be someone who like is a really good listener, like someone who's paying attention and really interested in what someone's saying. I guess other books, I don't know. I'm more of I'm reading I used to read for fun. Like that was like science fiction, fiction, fantasy, that kind of stuff. I don't know. I liked reading the I guess the Harry Potter books when I was a kid. I don't know. Yeah, I haven't been a big reader since like sports took over my life.
Have you read 50 Laws of Power?
Yeah, I have it in my room right now.
48
48.
I never read it before.
But yes, I have read some of it.
I think I want to read that. I've seen some TikToks about that.
Would you like me to give it to you?
I mean, I'll probably need it in about 6 months.
I'm gonna be totally honest with you. Having dabbled into Robert Greene's work and the 48 Laws of Power, that's almost like a college level. Like, it's gonna be pretty boring for you, if I'm totally honest, because like it's really in depth, like super in depth.
How long is the book? I mean, I read 5 pages a day. So,
but we're talking 500 pages. And each page is littered to the bone with references to this thing over here and this thing over here, like Machiavelli and all these old ancient people, and just it's really in depth. So, like, if you really want to if you want to potentially use the 48 Laws of Power, just start manipulating the world around you, and you're really set on that, I could see you wanting to learn that. But if you don't want to do that, it's not going to be something you're just going to pick up and be able to finish.
All right.
My brother told me last night his favorite book is it's called The Stranger. He read it, I think, for school.
In Portugal?
No. While he was here in high school.
At Hopkins? Did he go to Hopkins?
Albert Camus.
Albert Camus.
It's spelled Camus. It's no, he didn't go to Hopkins. He went to Amherst High School. But it's pretty famous.
There's a book I want to recommend to you, and I have it, but it's at home right now. Maybe when we get back, I'll give it to you. It's called The Game by Neil Strauss. Basically, it's his life story of how he was like a 24-year-old virgin, and he started like looking for ways, like how can I get laid? And he's one of this internet forum, and there's all these guys like studying the game, like these secret ways to pick up girls, and like if you say this thing at this time and use these tactics, he'll get laid.
So it's like mind.
Super mind. Yeah, basically. And he goes through this world. He meets all of these super high level pickup artists who have been getting like just smashing Victoria's Secret models and like just racking up kills, but they're obsessed with the psychology of picking up women. So much so that they see it as a game. And like he goes from being this guy who's a 24-year-old virgin to like just these crazy sex. The story is insane. It's wild. And then he ends up going through this huge self-development phase where he realizes that like this is kind of messed up and manipulative, and I can't actually have a real relationship if I'm using these tactics, and like it's just wild. And he's a great writer, and yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah, that would that'd be a weird thing to like dedicate your life to.
Yeah, and he's like known for that now too.
That's kind of weird, but I'm sure it's like very the process of him like reforming.
The story is just nuts, and I really like that book. But do you have anything else?
I think we can wrap it up. Another good episode with Addison Phifer. I like a good Addy episode. Calming voice, good conversation. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate you making the time. We don't even need to ask one last question because we already did before. Wraps.
Thanks, Chris.